Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening. I want to cover something today that's I find really fascinating, and that's generative AI is embedded into so many things nowadays. So not just the chatbots that you'd see like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or any of these other ones, and also there's a lot of tools that already have generative AI as a native function as part of it. Ones that are doing image gen, and so many. Microsoft Copilot now is embedded within the operating system, and so many different things are fully embedded. But somewhere in between are the tools that we use that are now starting to have generative AI as functions within them to enable and to enrich what we do. So I want to jump in today and show you three. It's more meant to be an eye-opener as to the opportunities that are available, more so than trying to show the three tools, but I hope in the process that you'll find use for one, two, or all three of these in your day-to-day. So I'm going to show three. The first one I'm going to be showing is ChatGPT in Excel, and we're going to do some powerful things right within Excel. There's no copying and pasting. It's a native part of Excel. We're going to do a similar thing, but let's use Claude instead, and let's use it in Google Sheets. So we'll show the embedding there. And then the third, using Snowflake as a database platform, and we'll use large language models to do a lot of queries with a SQL language. So developers, this is extremely powerful. If you haven't used Snowflake yet, I definitely encourage you to check it out. I've been using it for a few months, and I'm very, very impressed. So we're going to we'll do all three of these one at a time. Let me start with ChatGPT for Excel first. So I've opened up Excel, and it's an add-in, and it's a third party. So this is not Microsoft, and it's actually not ChatGPT either. It's a third party on top of those. We'll go to, in the Home tab, we'll go to Add-in, and I'll click More Add-ins, and we'll type in ChatGPT. There's a few options here. For example, GPT for Excel and Word is a good one, and actually I have it installed here. I tried it out. It is very good. But the ChatGPT for Excel, so not GPT for Excel Word, but ChatGPT for Excel. So click on that and hit Add, and you should have it similar to what I have here. In fact, it should open up and look kind of similar to this. You'll get 40 or so AI calls for free, and then there's a monthly subscription, so it isn't free. There's a monthly subscription around $9 or so, actually around $12, that includes, let's see here, I'll even show you this up front. Yeah, $11. It includes a certain amount of requests, and then you can pay extra, or you can bring your own key. You pay them $9, and then you just go out and get your own key. But that, so once you run out of some of the free usages, there is a certain amount of fee. But in a business world, even personal, it's actually pretty affordable. So let's try this out. Let's do an example. How about, I'm going to do, so over here, let's just do a prompt. And I have this in my clipboard already. So I'm going to say, list the top 10 countries in the world and fill in the record high and low and life expectancy for males and females. So let's do country. We'll do record high temp. We'll do record low temp. Let's do life expectancy, if I spelled that right, for males. And we'll do this again for females. Okay, so now we have this kind of prepped, but we want to fill in that information, and you know the effort prior to this, going back and forth and getting that and how much effort it could be. So let's just do equal AI dot. When the add-in's installed, you see this AI dot, and there's 7 choices we have available. So we can ask questions, we can extract from unstructured data, we can pull useful information from it, we can fill, format, translate is really neat, put something in one language and we'll see it in others. But the one we're going to do right now is a table. So let's do a table here. Select that, I'll just hit tab, and the prompt, you could actually just type it in quotes, or we can just select it from here. And the header, so it's going to be these columns here. And what's neat, so I'm going to hit enter. It's going to run out, or actually it's going to ask terms and conditions to approve that. So I will say yes, it's running right now. And it takes just a few seconds, not too long. And it will, I just put this in the top, the single cell, and it will infer and fill in all the extra columns for me. There it is. So it's gone, generative AI has done the research for me and pulled this in. Top 10 countries, starting with Russia and all the way down. And so, yeah, fascinating information. For example, I see the record low, Russia gets at minus 71 Celsius. And we can see, yeah, so fascinating. The record high, for example, I see that's, yeah, United States. Wow, 56 Celsius. So, and then also life expectancy, Great information. I won't spend any more time looking at that, but I find this very interesting for sure. So this gives an example. Now, there's so much more things I can do. And since that was so easy, let me do one more unscripted example. So let's try another prompt here. And let's say we're going to do something like reword the following email and make it more professional. So this is unscripted. Well, let's see what I can do. So I'm going to have an email here, and I will just say I'm not available tomorrow. And we'll do another one and say, no, I'm not interested. Okay, so we'll take those two. Let's see what we can do. So if I do an equals, AI dot, and now we're going to do an ask. So we'll hit another prompt. So basically what it's going to be is I'm going to prompt here, and I'll do a comma. Actually, I got that backwards. So let's do select here, and we're going to go back to our value. And you can see you can change the temperature, tokens, model. A few of these things are available to change, but I'm going to use the defaults for now. And you can see there. Yeah. So unavailability for tomorrow. We have the subject, and okay, the line breaks don't show here, but let's actually copy that out. Let's see if that how that would work. If I paste, you can see the line breaks are here. So Excel didn't show the line breaks. But dear recipient, I regret to inform you I will not be available tomorrow. So yeah, we could obviously prompt it for some other wording, and we can do the exact same thing here. In fact, if I were to take my prompt, I'm going to hit the F4 key. We'll put $signs in front so that it's now compatible to copy and paste. I'll just do paste down. You can see it's spinning. And same thing, Control C. Let's paste this at the bottom. And you can see, thank you for reaching out to me. However, I regret to inform you I'm not interested at this time. So plain and simple, but you can see how it could really help if you decide that Excel is the tool for you, but you can see the flexibility. One more thing here, actually, is you can see the prompt, but in addition to that is style, and again, unscripted. So let me just do something like friendly, slightly wordy, but not too much. So let's just give it just a little bit more life to it. And if I go into this query and here, let me go here, and I'm going to select both rows, and it will take the information from both of that, which I find very fascinating. And it's going to run it. There we go. And then let me just do the same thing here. I'm going to hit F4 on this and this, and I can paste that. And by the way, there's some good caching going on with this, so it didn't have to do some queries for every one of these. But yeah, let's take both of these. We'll bring it back in. And now that we have some more information, we can see, especially this bottom one, it gives us some more words and fills that out just a little bit more than the previous one. So I was able to prompt it a little bit on my style, and obviously as a minimalistic way, but you can see what it can do. Okay, now that we've seen that, let's take a look at Claude in Google Sheets instead. So it gives us another large language model. Claude just last week released major release version 3, and so let's check it out. And so we'll go here into Google Sheets, and the way we can add this is let's go to our add-ins. We can manage our add-ins, or actually in your case, if you haven't used it yet, do a get add-ons, and we'll search for Claude. So Claude for Sheets, and this one here, Anthropic's built-in one, or its recommended one, I should say. And I already have it installed, but you should have an opportunity to add this here and follow a couple clicks. Once you do so, you should see this Claude for Sheets here. And the first time it's asked for your API key, so actually let me show you how to do that. And so if you go to Claude.ai and log in, you should have your icon, your name here in the top, right? Whether you have the paid or not, you go to API console, and you have an option here to get API keys. If it's your first time, you should get a $5 credit, at least at the moment they're giving those out, and otherwise you can pay if needed. And go ahead and just create a key. So you can create a key, give it a name, and it's going to give you that key. So then you can bring that across into extensions, Claude for Sheets, and enter it here. Okay, now you're set up to be able to use this. So let's give ourselves some prompts. Let's do a marketing prompt where we're going to check a couple things out. So basically what we wanted to do is let's let it generate the verbiage for a LinkedIn post to market some of the products that we happen to have available. And so first thing let's do is let's prompt it with our prompt, and then let's give us our brand and voice, and then we're going to give it some products. So, and for a product, how about we'll just do a can opener for now. And let's also do, how about a Ford F-150? So we'll kind of mix it up a little bit. And so now, for a prompt, I should have something on my clipboard. And so, yeah, here. So if that popped up on my other screen, but write a LinkedIn product release article about the following product. Use the example at the end for tone and voice and company brand. Take your time and run it a second time. So we kind of mentioned a couple of things that will hopefully help it. And brand and voice. So now what we can do is let's say, let's go and Google can opener. And we want to, let's find an example. Yeah, 3 best can openers of recent 2024. So if they are successful, hopefully they have some good branding wording. And so here we have some general stuff here about it, but that's just bullet points. Let's see if I can find some more. You would want to spend obviously more time than I am right now, but here's a product description here. And let's paste that in. And actually, that did not work well. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup on that first and just get it in one. I guess there's another way I could have done that too. I could have just gone up here and pasted it, then it won't do the line breaks. Okay, so I have the brand and voice, and I could tweak this and make sure it has my own brand and voice. But basically what we're doing now is building a tool that has the prompt we want to use and the brand and voice. And one more thing I'm going to need, and that is so when I go here, I'm going to hit equal and Claude prompt and the model. And it defaults to Claude 2.1. So as of right now, there's hopefully a better way, and I just didn't run into it yet. But if I go back into Claude's interface, Anthropic's interface here, and let's go to Workbench, and you can see the names and here are the models. And I want to get this one. I didn't know how to copy and paste that, so I'm just going to use my browser tools. I'll inspect that and grab that from here. I'll do Sonnet. So Opus is even better, but I'll do Sonnet for now. It's going to be faster for us and uses less credits during my various tests. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to grab my prompt, and now I'm going to piece together a few things for my prompt. I'm going to tell it this, and let's actually do something. Let's put a product in XML tags. Claude recommends this, and other large language models do that as well. So do a prompt plus the product, we'll put that in quotes. We're going to do the product itself, which is here. And let's close off our product tag. And then from here, let's just go ahead with our voice. Actually, I could have done that differently, but there. And then let's include our brand and voice that we said it was going to be at the bottom. So it is now running. While that's running, because it will take a few seconds, I'm going to make an adjustment to this. I'm going to take that B1 and B2. I'm going to hit the F4 key. Works both in Excel and here. And that will give me an absolute cell reference. There we go. And yeah, here it is, generated. So can opener. So new can opener revolutionizes your kitchen. And OXO delivers innovative, on and on it goes. So some good information it has. Whether you like that or not, you might want to tweak that. But here's our first pass. And then likewise, let's go ahead and just create a second one. And again, you can have as many products as you want. The idea, let the AI do its work, and then we can come behind and do any tweaking, or you can tweak the brand and voice and see how it responds. Every time you change this, it will make an update. There is some pretty impressive, if you read the documentation, caching on how it caches everything and if you need to change it. So that way it doesn't abuse all the requests that you have. So here it is, introducing the new Ford F-150. And a hardworking partner you can count on and on it goes. So of course it grabbed our brand that I got from the brand and voice, which was good of it. So you'd want to change those type of things. But there you go. You built in a marketing tool right within Google Sheets. Give it a good name here. So we'll do something like, marketing tool, generate LinkedIn product text. and just go in here, add a new row, and automatically you have a new one available for you. So you can see the power there using Claude and Google Sheets. Let's take a look at our third embedded tool, which is using Snowflake and doing SQL queries to be able to do something very similar to what we just saw here. Okay, let's take a look at that. So if I go to Snowflake, so Snowflake is an online database and is really gaining a lot of steam, a lot of power, power with sharing data with things I'm going to show you right now. And it's compatible with stuff that any typical developer would do. So it should be very familiar with people who haven't used it yet. So let me show you how we can do something very similar. So I've created a simple table, select asterisk or star from US sites, and you can see I just have a GUID and I have all 50, exactly 50 states available here. So with that, we can do a query. And so this is just recently released, and so what they support, let's go here to their documentation, and so large language models, LLM functions, and this is in Snowflake Cortex is what they call it, and you have a few things you can do. For example, complete, extract answer, you can translate wording, you can summarize things, or find the sentiment of things. This is what they have available now. So complete is what we'll use. This is a general chat we can do, or research would be a complete. And so it mentions a few things there in terms of privileges, and it's not available in all regions or all providers. And so I was actually in Ohio, AWS Ohio. I couldn't use it there, but I can use it, and I'll go in here in Azure East, Virginia, which is US2. And it mentions a few things on the cost and such, which is if you're doing it in huge bulk, it's expensive. If you're doing one-off things, I mean, they're fractions of a penny to do this type of stuff. So, and then if I go this documentation here for complete, it will show you can actually do it in either Python, they have embedded Python, or as a SQL query. And so if we go down here and an example, and basically here is what it is. It's going to be snowflake.cortex.complete, and then two parameters. It's the name of the model, and then whatever your query is, and you can generate or work with this query however you want. So let's see if we can, how about let's find the favorite food for each of the each of the 50 states. It's kind of interesting. And let's go back here to our models. And we have a few different models documented as being available here closer to the top. Here we go. And so let's use Mistral 7B. Okay, let's try it out. So anyone used to SQL, this should be pretty intuitive. Let's do a select star from US state, so just what I have above. And but let's replace the star with the state itself, comma, and then now let's get the AI response for our second column will be the actual answer of the favorite food. And so let's do here, if you remember from the documentation, it should be snowflake.cortex.complete. So let's do that. Snowflake. I won't keep it all uppercase. Cortex.complete. And the first parameter was the model. And then the second is our wording. So let me do this. I have on my clipboard now. What is the food most known in the following state? I'll do a colon. And let's actually, a couple different ways we can do that. Use the concat function. So we'll do a concat, and we'll concat that with the state. So there we go. Second parentheses. Let's double check it. So we're going to select the state, and we're going to select the machine learning, basically generative AI, Cortex Complete. We're going to use this model. And let's concat what is the food most known by that state, and then the state of that particular row. So Control Enter, and let's see. It takes about 10 seconds or so, I've been finding, for this particular query. So somewhere in that ballpark. I'm running an extra small at the moment, so it could be even faster. And there it is. So let's try this out. Let's expand this. And yeah, Alabama, best known for several distinctive foods. And we see Alaska, so seafood, that makes sense. It mentions which ones. We see Arizona, a few, yeah. So basically we have all this information is able to be generated for us for each of the 50 states and let it do all the heavy lifting. So the power that we have in terms of getting the data from generative AI, processing stuff, sentiment translating. Yeah, and you can imagine the various different things. Imagine adding a translate. So the same thing, get the response back and also translate that in 2 or 3 other languages. You can get the sentiment, is this a happy tone or not a happy tone? You can do classification. Is this marketing related email that came in? Is it business related? Is it an internal and external document? All of these things are now available, and various different tools are starting to add it that we can work with. So hopefully you found this as interesting as I did, and it opens up my eyes in terms of a lot of different tools that are available, and more business applications and personal applications are able to be used. The tools that we have are having more and more options available to us. So happy AIing, all the best.